Hello. It was an interesting week for me following around those war veterans, listening to their personal stories of the war. What could be more real than talking to the Korean war veterans to hear about what it was like at the time? As Korea marks the 60th anniversary of the Korean War, the government has invited about 2,400 war veterans this year to thank them for their sacrifice and dedication to South Korea's freedom. For about a week, veterans from Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand visited former battlefields, and I have been following them around to share their interesting stories with you. Looking far away over the fields of North Korea, many thoughts are rushing through the heads of these war veterans. That is the land they fought on back in the 1950s, and it is the place where many friends heroically died and were buried. These Korean war veterans have returned to the country they fought for 60 years ago, and they have so much to share.
My brother was killed here, and we made a pact when we were boys that if one ever died in battle, the other would take his place. We did it just as boys, and it came to pass that it happened that way. And so I volunteered to come, and I came to Korea for that reason. And he's buried in North Korea, and I never did get to his gravesite. But that's what I had hoped to do, and it didn't happen.
It has been 6 decades since these Commonwealth veterans came back to the land they fought for. The aging former soldiers, some of them in wheelchairs, marched towards the Korean War Memorial in Gapyeong, the site of the 4-day battle in 1951, where they successfully fended off Chinese forces supporting the Communist North. 83-year-old Canadian Kim Reynolds recalled the moment when the other Canadian platoon on the ridge came under attack from Chinese troops.
We heard a lot of shooting and firing up above us. And we didn't know where actually they were because we're dug in, it's dark, we don't know what's going on.
British veteran William Speakman shared his story of the battle. He won Britain's highest military medal, the Victoria Cross, for leading over 10 grenade charges against the enemy and saving the lives of many comrades despite his severe injuries. His battalion of around 600 soldiers came under attack from about 6,000 Chinese, which is said even included hand-to-hand fighting.
When the action started, there were so many Chinese that they came out of the ground, and there were so many of them that first it was hand-to-hand. You had to sort them out.
In addition to stories of brutal battles, some remember the war victims who languished in great pain.
It was a very, very poor country. We felt, I personally, we all felt very sorry for the thousands of refugees who were displaced by the war and who suffered terribly.
42 Canadian veterans were eagerly welcomed by the students of Yeoncheon Dogok Elementary School, the school they helped to establish after the conclusion to the war. The former soldiers were thrilled to see how well the school is doing. Mervyn Fedwick, who served in the Forces Dental Corps for a couple of years towards the end of the Korean War, was excited to tell how his troops fundraised for the Korean children at the time. With no doubt, Korean children hold special meaning to him.
But those kids were really sharp. It just took your heart away. You had to make sure that you did as much as possible instead of just sitting there doing nothing.
Over at the Korean War Memorial Museum in Seoul, a copper plate commemorating Australian troops' participation in the war was unveiled in front of about 40 Australian veterans.
Our squadron, number 77 Squadron, has a long association with Korea. So we were the main Air Force squadron from Australia in the Korean War from 1950 until 1954. So it's a very historic occasion for us to come here.
Australia sent 17,000 troops to Korea only 5 days after the outbreak of the war 60 years ago, in which 41 soldiers lost their lives. The ceremony took place not only to pay respect to the veterans, but also to reaffirm ties between the two countries, as for most of these aging soldiers, Korea holds a special place in their hearts.
Well, there was one bridge, just one bridge over the Han River, and that's where the mama sons used to go with kids and would do the washing, you know.
when I look back, I think we did the right thing coming here, because the world would be different today if we hadn't have come.
With a soulful sound of Scottish bagpipes filling the air, the British veteran enters the monument of the Battle of the Imjin River. Derek Keeney, who was awarded Britain's George Cross for his resistance while in Chinese captivity, experienced brutal torture for more than 2 years.
I was captured by the Chinese and I was a prisoner of war for 2.5 years. It was just a furious battle. There was a lot of Chinamen all over the place and you just kept shooting them and they kept popping up. And you'd shoot them again.
The Battle of the Imjin River started in 1951 during the Korean War. Chinese forces attacked UN positions on the lower Imjin River to achieve a breakthrough and recapture the South Korean capital Seoul. The battle was defended primarily by British forces. Mr. Keeney tried to escape from prison twice, which he said was one of the most unhappiest times of his life.
I'm surprised they didn't kill me, because I wasn't a happy camper. They didn't like me.
Wearing beret and uniforms decked with medals, the veterans saluted solemnly in front of the monument. A total of 94,000 soldiers of the Commonwealth countries fought in the Korean War, with more than 1,750 killed and over 5,000 others wounded. Thinking of their friends who bled and died in the field during the war, the former soldiers cannot help but to shed tears. Only they can truly understand each other and what they had to go through.
All nostalgic, a little sad that it brings back the memories of the friends that you knew. So it has its moments.
Korean drummers beat powerful sounds cutting through the wind. The soldiers' martial art performance ends with the message saying, "We will never forget you." The ceremony organized by the Korean government is to thank the former soldiers who dedicated their youth and sacrificed their lives to bring freedom to South Korea. The event seems to have pleased the former soldiers.
Very enjoyable, yes, and brings back a lot of memories of 60 years ago.
To most of them, this is their first time since the war they've stepped foot on Korean soil, and they are marveled by the dramatic changes the country has undergone.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You know, I mean, we saw Seoul, it was a pile of rubble. And, you know, I come back now and it's just wonderful. I mean, I maintain that our government should better have a talk with the Korean government to see what they did.
To see what you've accomplished from the little acorn go the big oak tree. You've made a wonderful recovery since the war, and it's a pleasure that I took part in it, in your posterity.
It's marvellous the way you've rebuilding your country. Because a lot of people, a lot of soldiers, all these soldiers, they've got Korea at heart because of the people, and now you've shown them, and we say it was worth those battles that we fought because you're doing something about your future.
The brave soul did not forget to tell how he is so sure that Korea will overcome any hardship in the future, just like it has in the past.
You have these nasty little incidents that upset the things, but I'm sure you can manage and handle all this stuff, can't you? Can't you?
Although the veterans have lost many of their friends in the battle, the former soldiers thanked Korea for remembering them and for not forgetting the people who died.
Let me tell you something. You've got a wonderful cemetery here, and it's wonderful. People who can't come to Korea will love, we will tell them, they will know and they can be very happy that the way you look after those graves, those people in those graves, our friends, it's a most wonderful cemetery. Clean, tidy, and I believe you take your children and your people and you go around and you tell them what it's all about. And that's what you must do.
60 years have passed since the Korean War broke out, and the brave soldiers who shed their blood and died in the foreign land for freedom will never be forgotten.
Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.
And we will remember them.
Just by listening to their vivid accounts of the battles during the Korean War really evokes my respect. And I think through events like this, Koreans can appreciate them more for the sacrifices that they have made.
Of course. Especially now the war is referred as the Forgotten War, so I guess we should just remember the
Right. And the reason why the Korean War is dubbed the Forgotten War is because it is historically overshadowed by World War II and Vietnam. But the countries who fought in the Korean War have devoted so much not only to achieving freedom, but also in building foundations to become an advanced nation now. It was great for me to see how the veterans were happy to be back in the land they fought for and how they were overwhelmed and excited over the country's accomplishment over the past 60 years. And as many of the veterans told me that Korea holds a special place in their hearts. In Korea's hearts, they are also special, and the country will never forget them for what they have done.
Korea will definitely remember. Thank you, Nadi, for that report.
Thank you.